to another weekly vlog. It is Monday, there's no date on this, I don't like it. I think it's the 15th of September approximately, so whatever Monday falls around that. I am, as you can probably tell by the lovely roots on show, on my way to the hairdresser to get my usual roots. Hopefully it'll be a bit brighter today because they're doing the lightning part, and then take Isaac to his guitar lesson. That was weird. The windscreen just did its own washer, you know, like squirted itself and wiped. That was really strange. Yeah, don't think I've anything much else. Like, I've obviously been very sporadically recording over the last couple of weeks, kind of trying to decide whether or not to put up the 2 weeks prior to my mum passing. I don't know. The last video footage I have of my mum is from the waiting room of the hospital. So I don't even really want to watch it right now, to be honest with you, but we'll see. I'm not like ready to look through any of it just yet, so I'm just trying to, I don't know, I don't think it's properly sunk in yet, you know. It's, you wake up in the morning with that like pit in your stomach and sort of remember. I think what makes it's difficult, obviously, and you know, it's for anyone, but what makes it more difficult is worrying about my dad, and he's just completely lost. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's not a person that wants to be out and be social. He's just not a social person. He'll want to stick around people he knows, and the people he knows is all centering around the BT club, which is alcohol. So that's not helpful. And you know, if it was just a few pints, fair enough, but with my dad, it's getting out of his face so drunk he can't walk properly, and he struggles to walk normally anyway, so it's a worry, shall we say. Honest to God, I think I'm just destined to fucking worry for the rest of my days. I've got this rash all on my top lip and all under my hair. I wouldn't be at all surprised if my hairdresser says that. I don't really want to be putting anything on you. My skin is super sensitive right now, which is normal when I'm stressed or run down. I just need to pop into this place and stick these couple of cards in. Actually no, Tower Centre's got, I'll do it in the Tower Centre. I have to go and lift money for the hairdresser, so there's a post box in there, I'll do it there. I can't believe it's pissing it down on the day I have to go to the hairdresser's. See if this, I mean, I straightened my hair the night before the funeral because it was so frizzy, and then on the funeral day it pissed all day, start to finish, and it went all frizzy again. Fabulous. So if I'm going in here to pay for my hair being done, the last thing I want is a fucking frizz ball. Right, I shall go and I'll check in with you later when I look a little bit more presentable. Yeah, let's do our before, folks. We do it every week. We'll let you see the frizz. This is natural hair. There's nothing done to it. No conditioner, no straighteners. Air dried, no hair dryer. Frizz city. Before. We are bright again, guys. I asked her to wave it this time. I don't know if I should have left it straight or not. And she's cut it a little bit as well. So, just about to leave to go up to my dad's. Get Isaac. I'm like 10 minutes late of him getting out of school, so he has to walk up, and he's not answering his phone as usual. So yeah, I shall speak to you later. Okay. Have you heard this song? This is Falling in Reverse with Marilyn Manson. And it's amazing. I'm trying to turn it up a bit to let you hear. That bit's Marilyn Manson. It's called God as a Weapon, and it's amazing. Now, I can't say an awful lot about being a big fan of the personal people, Ronnie Radke or Marilyn Manson, but they're both very talented. Oh, it's just such a good song, but it sounds totally Manson. I like this little bit where it goes, oh. Why is that sexy? It is. I don't know why. It just is. Ugh. He's standing really odd in the video. He's standing, I can't do it because I'm sat down. He's got his chest out and his arms sort of held quite out, and I'm saying to Isaac, why is he stood like that? Because he's ripped. Or did he say ripped? Jacked is what he said. That's the new word. Because he's jacked. And I'm like, so is that him standing like that so everybody can see that he's jacked? Yeah. I'm like, right, okay. I'm so old. Oh, look how orange my hair is in the light. That's awesome. She said I'm the only client that she's got that is happy to have orange hair. So bright. I'm distracted. When I'm listening to a piece of music I really like, I get totally... And I love it when songs end really abruptly. I hate nothing more than a repeated chorus like 50 times. I love a precise end. That song's only 3.5 minutes long. And saying that, Bohemian Rhapsody is very long, and I love that too. Just waiting on Isaac coming out of guitar lesson. Just called up at my dad, he seems okay. Brendan was in, his friend. Brendan's been so good. I can't even tell you how good he's been. I must send him a message later to thank him for being down so much, checking on him. Isaac's nagging me for Chinese on the way home, which isn't happening because I'm skint. So we'll have to, I don't know what there is in the house. We're not due to get our shopping delivery till tomorrow, so there maybe isn't an awful lot in the house to eat. No, there'll be something. It's making me feel guilty now. Right, I don't even know. I put that on to let you hear a part of that song that you're probably not remotely interested in, but there you are. That's my weird music that I like. If you're listening, Alan, I like a bit of that. I know you're not a fan at all. Right, I think that, well, that's me done with the Young Blood Political podcast for today. I shall check in with you later in the week. I don't think there's anything of any note to tell you. Nothing's happening. So, yeah, I shall speak to you later. Hello. Oh, that fucking lane assist's on. You probably hear that every vlog at the minute, every time I switch it on. I am going to have to buy a little mic because the ambient noise in this is much worse because that's further away from me. So I shall be looking into a little mic to improve things. There's certain iPhones, I think if you've got a modern enough iPhone, there is a thing on it to cut out ambient noise, but I don't have a modern enough iPhone, so I'll try and get a wee mic and see how we get on. It is Wednesday. I'm just on the way in to go up to the bank with my dad today just to get the bank account transferred into his name. Hopefully that should be pretty straightforward because they're joint accounts. There is an ISA with a couple of grand in it, about £2,000 in it, that I don't think we can do anything with until we've done the will. But we've got an appointment to do that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So we'll see. We'll get the bank out of the way first today and then after tomorrow. I just, the solicitor said something like, oh, how much is in the account? expensive something or other. I didn't know it, like, I know nothing. I didn't know it cost money to do probate and all that stuff. But I'm also thinking I don't need a solicitor to contact the bank for us and then charge us for it. So, you know, if that's something we can do ourselves, I would rather do it ourselves than go down to a solicitor and pay him to do something that, you know.
Walking off the street.
Yeah. So, another issue I'm thinking is going to arise is my dad's main bank account that he uses. His name's Cahill, but his official birth certificate name is Hugh Charles. Obviously, he's never been called Hugh Charles. Cahill's short for Charles. It's an Irish word, Irish name. But on his bank account it says Cahill, and on all identification of every description it says Hugh Charles. So how on earth are we supposed? This is like decades ago. How are we supposed to transfer money out of a bank account that's got Hugh Charles on into a bank account that's got Cahill on when all of his ID says Hugh Charles? It's not the same name. So I don't know what he's going to do about that. I'm going to have to say to him, look, you're going to have to go and change that. But then are they going to say, well, who's Cahill then? Why should I change that into Hugh Charles?
I'll just withdraw it and close the account.
But they might not let him because it's down as Cahill.
Is he a cash point for it?
Yeah, but cash points never bloody let you
No.
lift, you know what I mean? Banks nowadays, you can't lift your money out of it. You're not allowed. You have to use like a cash point and take out your maximum amount per day until it's empty. So anyway, we're hoping to get a couple of the banks done today, solicitor tomorrow, and then at some stage, maybe the week after, I'll have to start on clothes and stuff. Oh, this Thursday, the dietitian is supposed to come and pick up all of those, you know, like special desserts and stuff, the high calorie stuff she got from my mum. There's so much money's worth there, but she told Darren that some of those little pots are worth £3, and my mum's got like 3 boxes full of stuff. So obviously we know that she can use it for samples when she goes around to see other clients, to, you know, let them see what it is before it's ordered for them. So that'll keep her going for months. And then on Friday they're supposed to be coming to take away the hospital bed. I wish the person, I've already contacted the wheelchair person, because the wheelchair is in my dad's car, and then the wheelchair that was supposed to be collected when she got her new wheelchair is still sitting there. And this is the kind of thing we need to be able to get rid of, you know. And someone told Darren, I think it was a dietitian, said they're never in any hurry to collect anything.
She's not people threatening to stick it outside or sell it. You either come and collect it, or it's going outside or selling it. Because
there's no room for it, you know. It's not fair to have people sat looking at an empty wheelchair when they've lost their partner. It's not fair. It's depressing.
I mean, the hospital bed she's got is worth so much money with that mattress.
Yeah.
My God.
All of these people that will be waiting on this stuff, fighting to get the stuff like we were, and then there it is, and you can take it, recondition it, and use it, but they're dragging their feet. It's like, what are these people doing? I was just about to put my sunglasses on there, and I've realised I've got my contact lenses in. I was going to get my first wear out of me prescription sunglasses, and I'm like, no, I'm not. You put your contacts in today. Yeah, so that's what's happening today. We're going to the bank. Hopefully that'll be straightforward enough. If I have anything else to tell you, I'll check in with you later on. Hello. I thought, given that I'm not driving, I've ordered a lapel microphone off Amazon. Keep your fingers crossed, it's half decent. It's coming tomorrow. I thought since I wasn't driving and all you ever hear is car noise, I'll catch you up on anything now while we're sat in the car waiting outside Isaac's Jiu-Jitsu. Should be out in about 15 minutes. Today me and my dad went to the solicitors for my mum's will. I've never seen a will before, I've never been at a will reading before, and it's so incredibly simplistic. It was one sheet of paper. We went in, and it's this big building, and it stunk of like damp, just a really old damp building. And we're sitting down, we were there about 10 minutes early, and about 3-4 minutes after our appointment time the guy appeared and ran out the door. I'll be with you in 2 minutes. 15 minutes later he comes back, My dad says if he comes back with anything in his hand, he's went to get that will, because there was nothing in his hand when I left. Now, their premises have moved slightly round the corner, so basically he, I think, had complete. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a professional person, when someone's coming down to look at a will because someone's died, has everything that they need to have ready for that appointment. Now, I was meant to have an appointment with him on Monday. This is Thursday. But he apparently sent me an email, which I've never received, and I didn't. I've been through everything, my junk, everything. There was no email. Double checked it. So I would have thought he would have had everything ready on the Monday. So anyway, Thursday, 4 o'clock, we go in, runs out, 15 minutes he has us waiting, and comes back in with an envelope with the will in. And he said something like, oh, I was just getting copies of this. And I thought, you're talking out your arse, mate. You went out with nothing in your hand and you've come in with that. You've forgotten we're coming. Hi all, we are back in the parish centre tomorrow evening for... Right, I just need to stop that to see what that says. Well, that was completely pointless. Because it says we'll be back, it's the Explorers tomorrow night, and I was just saying to Darren, they still haven't told them what they're doing tomorrow night yet. Because you could be like in a different place, you might not be in the normal hall, and it said, we will see you tomorrow night in the parish centre for... And I'm thinking, oh, for what? For our first night back of this. So, that was pointless. What was I saying? Yeah, so he didn't have the thing ready. He went out to get it when we got there. My dad hates nothing more than waiting about. It makes him nervous. But anyway, we went in. He read the will out. We need to get probate for... I didn't even know what probate is. Basically, it's a legal jargon for almost permission to change. Like, say you had loads of money. You need to get probate in order to get that money if you're entitled to it. But because there isn't loads of money, the only thing there is well, there's some money, but not loads. The house. So you need probate to transfer the house, and my mum's left the house to me. So if my dad decided that he wanted to sell the house, he can't. Because apparently it's mine.
He's squatting.
There's a thing on it called a life interest in the house, which basically means my dad lives there for the rest of his life, and when he passes it goes to me. There was something in the will, I don't even know if I should be telling you this. I'm going to tell you anyway. There's something in the will. My mum wanted to leave £5,000 to a charity called Trocra, which is an Irish-based charity, but what they do is they, you know, like, what's that worldwide charity that goes out to, like, Africa and stuff and help? You know, is it children's something?
There's children in need, there's...
Not children, I can't remember what it comes under the umbrella. I think that's it. What it comes under the umbrella of, but basically it's for vaccinations, hospitals, food, water for charities in Africa. It's like Catholic, like masses have every year. You get your wee Trocra box, and at Lent, whatever you're not doing, for a lot of people it's smoking, for some it's drinking, for kids it's like sweets or something, you're meant to put the money that you would normally spend on whatever that thing is into your Trocra box. Anyway, so that's what the charity is. And she'd left £1,000 in a hat. That £5,000 she had left to them, and £1,500 to a MS Society. My dad had his knickers in a real twist about this, and he said, I'm going to try changing that. I says, I don't think you can. If that's in the will, it's a legal document. And I said to the guy, they done absolutely nothing for her, like at all. Apparently there used to be a local MS Society, and when there was fundraising done, that went to help people of the local club, but then it all changed and everything went under the umbrella of Belfast. And after that point, any money that was raised didn't go to local clubs basically, and from that point my mum never had any help. My dad says she never as much had one phone call the whole time to say how are you or anything, you know, nothing. So he had a real bone in his bonnet about that money going to them. And the solicitor said, well, he said, you were both executors. There you go. I've never been anything important in my life. I'm an executor. He said, it's up to you to decide. It doesn't have to do that. Basically, it's just down there as that was what her wishes are. But I says to my dad, I think if you and my mum had had a conversation about it in recent years, she would have probably agreed with you. But so we've agreed to the charity that was put forward by the funeral, not put forward by the funeral parlour. You know, when someone died, the thing usually said, only family flowers. If you want to make a donation, you can do for this. And it's usually, if a person dies of cancer, it's usually Marie Curie or maybe a hospice. For my mum, it was mercy ships, which is basically hospitals on boats. It's ships that are hospitals that go and do things like cleft palate surgery and glaucoma and stuff. My mum was like, it was probably the charity above all that she, you know, it was little kids getting operations, and that was the main thing my mum supported. So he was absolutely, but he's like, well, he didn't say, well, I'm not bothered. He said, it's completely up to you. So it's fine to change it. So we've been able to change that to mercy ships instead of the MS Society. But she basically left any money in her bank account to me, but I would be a complete and utter cow if I was to say to my dad, right. I think he was quite shocked. He's obviously now going to be going forwards on a pension without any financial support from my mum, who was on a pension and PIP. So, you know, there's going to be a massive big difference in what's coming in. And obviously before, my dad couldn't go anywhere, he couldn't do anything ever, and I'm hoping that's going to change, that he'll, once, obviously not right away, but he'll start getting out, maybe taking himself away somewhere. But the main savings account was joint, so that's in his name, but there was a few thousand, not that much, in a current account, so we've agreed to split it. Whatever's left, it'll probably like maybe be a couple of £1,000, but it will go into the Florida fund, and maybe we might get next year instead of 2 years time. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But it was interesting how you expect this big formal, big long document, and it was like 1 page printed. It's just like, she's getting my house, I'll leave everything to her. And I said to my dad, right, out you go. I didn't know what to say because I felt really uncomfortable that at no point on that will did she say that she left anything to my dad. And I'm like, fucking hell, this is a bit weird. But he was with her when she drew it up, so my guess is at the time he has said, I want nothing.
No, and you'd have to say
don't put my name on
what
that.
he said.
That's, I think, what's happened.
Heather said, give it to you. That's what your dad's like.
But I know he really, I says, what you want to do? I'm not touching that money. It's like a savings account my mum had that was started by my grandparents, and it was only us pushing that made them use it to, you know, to get windows and stuff put in, to get stuff that needed done in the house. I'm like, you spend it, it's there to be spent. But my dad's like, well, I'll not be touching it, it'll just be staying there. And I'm like, no. I says, this is time. I said, God knows you've had no time in your life to do anything. I said, anywhere you've always wanted to go, go. And he says he really wanted to go to Petra, which I know is one of these places that's like, it's got like a big carved into a stone mountain, but he said it's too far. He says he thinks it's in Oman or something. Oh, it's too far away. I says, why is it too far away? It's fine. So hopefully he'll actually...
Do you remember the holiday pull? Oh, it's half an hour too long on plane now.
Yeah, they were... the travel agent had found him a really good deal, and I think it was half an hour longer on the plane. Nope, he had in his head, I'm willing to be on a plane this amount of time and no more. My dad's just stupidly stubborn for no reason.
It was a posher hotel for less money.
But yeah, so that's
made me
done.
laugh. Made her laugh because I was laughing. So it's like, nope, too far. Not sitting that amount of time.
I don't know if I need my dad to go in again to the bank with me to sort this out, because we're both named as executors, or whether one of us, he hates doing all this. He can't stand. He just sits there like a puppet and lets me do it all. He's just there.
He didn't have his hearing aids in.
He did that deliberately.
I know he did.
He doesn't put his hearing aids in so that he just doesn't have to be bothered, basically. Not bothered's the wrong word. He doesn't like formality and legality and talking to people. He can't bear it. So he just goes and sits there. So, like I say, I don't know if I'm going to have to trail him around the banks again. I have no idea. So, when a house has been transferred, basically, the solicitor does it, and they'll send a fucking big bill out for this too. he fills out paperwork and sends it to somewhere in Belfast. We have to go and sign it first. It gets sent away. Then they send out something electronically that we have to read. I can't remember what it's called. It's a big long name for it. And if we're in agreement with it, we both have to click agree. We have to give 2 email addresses to make sure I get one and he gets one. My dad doesn't fucking have an email address. So I had to give one that I set up for him to get him onto BBC iPlayer, which thankfully I've still got the password for. So, and then when we've clicked the button, it says it can take like 6 to 8 weeks for it all to be done. So we'll see what happens.
I'll get some quotes for his heating system. Because when that's done, it will pay for itself by the amount it's costing him for the oil at the minute, going forward extra. Next few
Yeah,
years.
but then that's more money coming out of that account.
Well, he needs it.
Mm.
And it's costing money. Every time he tops up, he's probably paying 50% more than what he should do for...
The heating system was put in my parents' house when my age was in single digits. I shall be 50 at the end of the year. And I would say I was about 6 or 7 when it was put in. So, badly in need of a refit. I'm eating these. I've just sent to Darren. You can tell they're rubbish by tasting them. But
filth is the word you use.
I did use the word filth. But they're really nice. You know you're eating something really just full of sugar, full of colourings. Something that's really not very good for you. And then I picked this up thinking it was sugar free and realised when I got to the car it isn't. So I'm going to be bouncing off the fucking walls. You see, I saw cherry. It was sat beside a row of stuff with no sugar in it, and it should be nicer than that for having sugar in it.
I'll see if it works. Do.
What's that? Am I supposed to be dancing?
Yeah, well, sugar, dripping. All additives and sugar.
So Isaac's off school tomorrow. It's prize day for the older pupils. That's when the popular kids in the class in the year get loads of accolades, and the quiet kids just basically sit there and get ignored all day. You know, this most likely to this and all that crap. And I'd probably be most likely to not be remembered would be me, because I was so insignificant at school. Other than running, it was the only thing I was any fucking good at, which is quite apt and it's quite funny now. I'm sure people don't believe me when I tell them that. It's a nice dog over there. I've decided I will give him a call. Lisa thinks. My dad called him. I texted Brendan earlier. My dad's asking if you're going down to the club tomorrow. But then my dad called him well after that text was sent. Yeah, right, I've done. Have you anything else for me to... And no news of any description? Oh, so that's it.
Your Halloween outfit.
Oh yeah, but I'm doing Chucky. Purely because Darren says you should do Chucky because you've got the right colour hair. So that's what's happening.
Yo, Chuck.
We're going to see Stormzone. And then on Halloween night, the Fright Club are doing Ghostbusters 2. So if it's fancy dress, Chucky will be coming out again. We shall see. He's going to try and make Isaac a, you know, the bear trap from Saw.
Reverse bear trap, original one.
So we'll see how that goes. But I think I've got some really cute things from, but I think they're in the book. Where did they go?
Right.
Oh, let me see if I can show some. Wait to see these things I got from the pawn shop.
Now, I'll put your seat back a bit, I'll give you press it home.
I was just going to take them out of your pocket.
Beep.
Right. Right, you don't need to see the Tunnocks tea cakes, but
Oh,
there they are.
Tonics.
Right. I'll take the bird's worms.
Have you got worms?
Worms.
Hold that sugar.
These little candles were £1 for 2 candles. And we've got candles on our mantelpiece, so I thought that would be nice.
50p each.
It's a tea light holder shaped like a skeleton hand. Because I got some pumpkin, what are they? Here they are. Sweet pumpkin scented tea lights. So I really like these. I got 2 of these. £1 these were.
£1?
I know, like the pound shop, most stuff isn't £1 anymore.
They were £1? And how much was that one?
And it lights up. I haven't pulled the little tag out yet. Was he £1 as well? I think he was.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think he was £1. And I got this candle.
Was that £1?
No, that was £3. It smells really nice though. Is it pumpkin spice or something? I don't know. Pumpkin spice scented candle. I think that's it. Little dog treats. Darren got a, what is that? Craft knife.
That's for cutting out the EVA foam to make the bear trap.
Oh right, okay. I think that's it. Yep. But I'm really pleased with these little. I think these are dead cute for £1. Because they're like silver on the inside, so you know when you put a candle in, it'll like be nice and shiny.
You like shiny, don't you?
Yeah. So stuff I obviously didn't need, but was very cute, so I bought. But like everything apart from that big candle, everything was only £1, so it's not like I spent a lot of money. So yeah, nothing of any interest to tell you apart from that. Nothing planned for the weekend. Wanted to say that, or should I say I wanted Darren to say Spinal Tap too, but they're only showing it in the evening in Belfast on Saturday evening. So
They didn't get any posters in. He messaged me
it's
again.
obviously not really popular. It's not showing in our hometown at all.
Orange.
It's not showing in the next town over. To give you an idea, our cinema, 3 screens are showing fucking Downton Abbey. Is that what it is? Or is it Bridgerton?
I have no idea.
I think it's
one of
Downton
them
Abbey. That
shite
big
things.
one, that big series that's on ITV.
Period drama.
3 screens, and we don't have Spinal Tap. City House Cinemas in Belfast, the one we usually go to, was showing it last weekend, but now it's down to just showing on an evening. So we would usually go up on an afternoon to see a film. We've never been up at an evening up there before. And it's quite late as well. It's like half 7 and sometime after 9. So I wouldn't really want to be leaving Isaac in the house on a Saturday night at that kind of time.
We'll just wait and watch it on the TV.
We'll just wait and what?
Get the DVD.
You wouldn't download a thing, would you?
Oh.
Jesus Christ, you cretin. Well, you've been blessed by a priest, so you're alright.
I almost was, but I didn't know if it was gluten free.
That's one of the funniest things I ever seen.
Oh shit, what's he giving me?
And I couldn't even laugh at it.
What
because
is it?
the setting really was not. Can you imagine the priest trying to give Darren communion and Darren shitting himself?
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
It's alright, I kept my hands crossed. And he kind of looked at me as if to say, oh, for fuck's sake, and then moved along. He did! Oh, for fuck's
You're
sake.
one of them.
Yeah. Heathen. That's why he spat at me, was it? Heathen. Burst into flame.
Every time I go into my dad's house, there's more fucking sympathy cards. I've never seen so many in all my life. There's so many.
I bet if you asked your dad, who's it from, I know what he'd say.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh dear. So the woman came today to get all of my mum's little dessert pots and stuff, so that'll be really good because, well, like when she came, it feels like all the help that my mum got all came too late and all came at the last minute. She was so good getting all these desserts and stuff, and then the wheelchair came through, and then the hoist came through.
Nothing happened after that.
And within with that big complaint, within a couple of months of all this starting, well, not a couple of months of the food was only a couple of weeks. What happened, but it'll mean that she'll be going out to see other people in a similar position to my mum, and she'll have these things. She said they would have just been thrown out otherwise. All boxes of 3 months worth of little puddings and drinks and little shots with really high calorie, so that'll help other people, which is, that's exactly what my mum would have wanted. They're coming tomorrow to take the hospital bed and the 2 wheelchairs. I'm really hoping they take those 2 wheelchairs to get them out from under my dad, because I'm absolutely sure the last thing in the world you want to be looking at. It must be heartbreaking. It's hard enough for me looking at the empty wheelchair, but I can't even imagine what it must be like for my dad looking at that. I don't know if he like compartmentalizes and he can shut it out. You know, he's much better at that sort of thing than I am, because he seems to be able to, you know, but I don't know. I just, it's that thing, you don't want to pretend the person didn't exist. Of course you don't. You don't want to erase them, but you also don't want to be looking at something
I think your dad just
that
doesn't
personal.
want you to know what he's feeling, so that's why you see him as dealing with it like that, because he don't want you to see what he's actually feeling.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know if it's upsetting him having all the stuff there, or whether he'd rather have it there. You know what I mean?
I think he'd rather get rid, just get it moved.
You know, I'm trying to normalise things as much as possible for him. Without trying to make him feel like I'm trying to erase stuff. He's doing that out the window, Isaac.
Come on, ladies!
Oh, for Christ's sake.
What's he going to do that?
No, I'm just not.
That's why I do it.
Right, so with that, we'll go home now. I'll have another drink of this bloody sugar that I shouldn't be drinking.
It's good, innit? I've not had sugar like that in
This
ages.
drink, this relentless drink,
It's for you.
I had this in Scotland and it was so good. It's just like off-brand Monster.
Right, I'll switch you off. I'll switch you back on later in the week. Hello. You're getting this. Apologies, that's the windowsill. Today is Friday. Isaac's Explorers were cancelled because one of the leaders is sick, so he didn't get to go into Beavers to do his volunteering. Well, I could have done, but I wasn't driving all that way in for that and then not the other. Today my mum's bed and one of her wheelchairs was taken. My dad was at the BT club as usual for a Friday, and he came in and I got this really garbled text from him that made no sense. So I phoned him, and I am, as you know, almost 50, and today is the first day I heard my dad break down and cry. He is not coping very well. He says he doesn't know how he's going to go on. Basically, he knew that the equipment was being collected today, and he went out kind of on cue of when they were coming. Darren went all the way in to oversee everything, but he walked in from the pub this evening pissed. And obviously, you know, when you've had alcohol, defences are lowered, etc. And he walked into the bedroom and the bed was gone and the wheelchair was gone and the commode was gone. And he said it's like my mum's being erased. He said it ripped the heart out of me. He said it just ripped the heart out of me to come in and see everything had gone. And I'm like, and he was breaking down and crying and he couldn't speak, and I'm like, do you want me to come in? And he's like, no, my dad hates fuss at times, you know, to make him worse. He doesn't want people to talk about it to him. I tried to explain to him, she's been the centre of your life for 50 years. This is going to happen. Things are going to hit you. You're going to break down. You're going to feel this way. That's everything you're feeling's normal. And I says, you know, I thought that seeing the things there empty would be harder. And he says, no, it was a comfort for the things to be there. Now he can walk into the bedroom and straight across to his bed without having to like shuffle past the end of her bed because her bed's not there. It's just really struggling. It's a big house. It's not a big house, it's a normal 3-bed council house. But for one person on their own, it's a big house. And he's struggling and I don't know what to do. My dad's not demonstrative or affectionate, or he doesn't in sobriety want to talk about stuff. He's deliberately left his hearing aids out a lot recently because he doesn't want to hear people tell him they're sorry and all that stuff. He doesn't want to hear it in case it sets him off. So I don't want to go in and then start talking about it to make him feel shit again. But on the other hand, I don't know if I should be talking about it to him. I don't know what to do. He was adamant I wasn't to come in this evening. But it's difficult, you know, he's not a social person. So I don't know what he's going to do going forward. I've suggested, oh, why don't you go to the tech and do like a Silver Surfers course or something, you know, to teach him about the internet, but he's not interested in any of that. Obviously it's way too early to be thinking about doing stuff and getting out there and all that stuff. He just, at the minute, he's just trying to get from day to day, and I don't think it had properly hit him. But when he came in and all the stuff wasn't there, and Darren said that it broke down with him last week when they came back from the club. Darren went in the day of the funeral to make sure my dad got home okay. And that night he broke down with Darren. But this is the first time he's broke down with me. And it's such an odd thing. You know, as an example, in our household, as I say, I'm 50, this is the first time I've seen my dad cry. Other than a little bit of teariness when his parents died, but nothing, no voice breaking or just a bit of watery eye. I get more at a film or bloody stuff on TV, but this was proper breakdown, and I've never seen it before in all this time. You know, he wouldn't be someone that would give you a hug. He's never told me he loved me my whole life. It's never happened. He's never said those words. You know, he's from a generation where you know that he does. He doesn't need to say it, but I'm just trying to communicate that my dad's completely emotionally stoic most of the time. But obviously, with alcohol in him, he's come in and it's just hit him like a ton of bricks. And I'm just struggling with what to do to help. You know, like going in and help him sort the house out obviously is not something that we should be doing, because it's a comfort to him for things to be there, so I'm not going to touch anything else. The equipment just had to go back. There was no way around that. And I've had things like those little desserts picked up yesterday, and they're coming on Monday to pick up boxes of incontinence pants that she had. So all that sort of stuff I think is fine, but it's the fact the bed's gone, and it was saying to me she was in that bed and the wheelchair's gone. She sat in that chair, and it's like she never existed now, and he's really, really struggling with it. And my heart's breaking for him, and I don't know what to do. I know, I even struggle to talk about this. I know I haven't allowed it to hit me yet, because I'm not ready to break down yet, because there's too much that needs done. I'm too worried about my dad, and I don't need to be adding to the situation by, you know. But what do you do? Advice to those out there that have lost one parent but not the other. Coping mechanisms. How did you help? What did you do for your parent that's still there? If that's I know like everyone's got different situations, you know, but any advice greatly received, because at the minute I'm just, you know, with my mum's situation, the fact that my dad couldn't do anything or go anywhere, it's not like he can go out and pursue things he wants to do. His best friend has a wife that's also disabled that he can't always get out. So he doesn't readily have someone that he can go and do stuff with. So basically he's spending all his time reading and watching movies, and that's it. He's not very physically able to do things, so, you know, there's things I know he would like, but he wouldn't really be able physically to cope with, so I can't do those. It's just upsetting to hear someone going through that much pain and you don't know what to do. It's hard. Anyway, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? But grief's one of those things that, you know, I'm hoping it brings me some sort of clarity looking back in the future, or even maybe if it helps any of you guys when it's my air freshener, which sounds like it's out of air freshening. Oh shit. So if that air freshener's out, I replaced the air freshener downstairs today. The refills are a £5 for fuck's sake. And now this one's out, so I have to get one of those as well. Darren absolutely hates them. Even though they're non-aerosol. I have to switch that off actually, because there's no point at squirting nothing. Yeah, like in the future, any of you that have parents, this will happen to all of us one day. And maybe seeing someone else's experience of that may be helpful, I don't know. It may not whatsoever, but yeah, I'm calling on your advice if you have any. I need to get to the comments on my blogging channel because I haven't looked at them for so long. It sounds ridiculous, but it's solely, I get a bit not panicked, the wrong word. It's a bit overwhelming sometimes on my main channel to reply to comments about movies and opinions, because you sometimes get pricks in there having a go at you. And you need a lot of sort of like stoicism or lack of care or don't give a shit, or you just need to be in the mood to handle it. And a lot of the time I'm not. You know, YouTube I just want as a distraction, as something fun to do. That's the reasons for not replying to comments on my main channel are completely different about my non-main channel. And the ridiculous reason is, when I start to reply to comments and stuff, it takes me hours and hours and hours because I leave it so long, which I shouldn't. Just life gets in the way. There's so many other things that I'm doing. There's loads of things I would like to spend more time on that I don't like. I want to get back to learning Japanese, which I let go and I've forgotten it all. I had the whole katakana alphabet learned. I don't know any of it anymore. I know bits and pieces, but not very much. I want to read more, but I find I spend all my time watching TV and watching movies because it's easier. So I know when I sit down to reply to comments, it's going to take me hours to do it, and that puts me off. And if I was only to like do it every couple of weeks, I'd be fine. So I need to get to doing that. There's me asking your advice and then I don't see it for 3 months. But yeah, this is helpful, guys, even if you don't comment or I don't get to them in ages. Being able to talk, even though this is to a camera, it feels like I'm talking to, you know, I can see the people I'm talking to. And it helps to like purge a lot of my thoughts. There's only so much one husband can listen to because I don't really have other people to talk to. Other people that I know that I'm friends with, it's not that emotional, close friendship that I would feel comfortable spilling my guts to, other than, you know, say Kelly, but, you know, she lives in Nottingham, I live here, and both of us fucking hate the phone. There's nothing I hate more than speaking to people on the phone, so that wouldn't fucking help. But yeah, I just don't have that same, it's hard to explain, you know, there's people that I'm friends with that I really, you know, I really like them, I have a lot of time for them as people, they're really nice, and it's nothing against them whatsoever. I'm just a bit of a tough cookie to crack. It takes me a long time to trust people and to open up with them and to be vulnerable with, but it takes me a long time. Kelly will tell you we've known each other for years. And we've got a lot of similarities when it comes to social awkwardness and just generally how we are as people. I think we tend to be quite similar. I would say Kelly's more social than me, and probably Kelly, she'll go, what? When she's watching this, I think Kelly makes friends easier than I do. I feel like while I can make quite surface relationships relatively easy, I feel building anything with any sort of depth to it I find really difficult, because I've had so many instances of finding out that people that I let in were bitching about me behind my back, were talking about me, were just not being very supportive friends, that I've held people at arm's length ever since, if that makes sense. And it's not a conscious decision, it's not something I do on purpose. My brain just completely prohibits me from allowing myself to be vulnerable with people, if that makes sense. And I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. the last person in person that I had, a close friendship relationship with was Raymond, who you've probably all heard me talk about. We were like brother and sister. And I've regretted cutting ties because of the whole thing about his wife. But I know that principally my decision wasn't the wrong one from a principles point. He completely mistreated me as a friend once, promised he would never do it again, and went on to do it again. But I've always known about him that the person in his life that's his partner will always come first, and I feel like I was too hasty with that. I should have just went along holding him at arm's length for the period of time, and then he went on obviously to lose his wife, which must have been devastating. And he's now bringing up her teenage daughter. I think she's like 12, and a little madam, might I add. That's coming from him, not me. He spoke to a mutual friend and she was telling me. Lots of door slamming going on in that house. But she has a biological dad who she was visiting and stuff, so how Raymond has ended up with her, I don't know, but having known him since I was 15, I'm now almost 50, and it's been a long time since we fell out now. I kind of regret my hastiness, but my brain tells me that it wasn't right for him to treat me like that, and it wasn't right for him to disregard our friendship purely because she was uncomfortable with him having female friends. I have always, in every relationship I've had, stood up for my friendship with Raymond, and not all guys have been very receptive of it and understanding of it. They don't like it. How can you be so close with another male? But like I say, it's like brother and sister between me and him. But you can't lose that. It's hard to. But I keep telling myself that thing, friends come into our lives for a reason or a season or a lifetime kind of thing. And I think that is the case. I regret not being able to be there when all that shit happened to him. I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like. And his best friend, funny enough, a guy called Brian, he lost his partner as well. I don't know the ins and outs as to why, but we think it was suicide. She had a big drinking problem, and it was either something to do with her liver through alcohol or drinking. So he lost his fiance, mother of his child. He'd just had a young daughter, and then Raymond goes on to lose his through COVID. How fucking shit. And I felt really bad at the time for not being able to be there. I did send a sympathy card, and he did unblock me and Darren on Facebook. He hadn't blocked us in the first place. His wife had gone on and blocked us. So he's made that decision. So I would like to think he doesn't hold any ill will, but mending the relationship is not something I'm going to set out to do, but it does make me very conscious of making hasty decisions, even though how he treated me was wrong. I don't know, maybe a little bit more understanding on my part may have helped the situation. I don't know. I think it was because I'm this kind of person. If I can't have it out with you, if I can't talk to you about it, it vegetates, and I'm a thinker. My brain goes over and over and over and over, and I get angrier and angrier, and I can't. If at any stage I had have been able to sit down and had a conversation with him about it, it would have been quashed. But because he kept ignoring messages, we couldn't get together. There was always, it wasn't even that he made excuses. He just ignored the messages entirely, which just wasn't him. Because I never got that option, I got so angry that I'm like, he's done it to me again, and he promised he wouldn't do this. And Darren was very much in agreement with it. As a matter of fact, Darren was angrier about the whole thing than I was. I don't think he had fully forgiven him for the first time around because of what I went through at that point. This time it was just raw. There was no It didn't hurt like the first time. The first time was fucking hellish. The second time was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But yeah, I don't even know why I went there. I think it went there because I was talking about struggling that was an example of my last really close friendship that let me down. A load of work colleagues did exactly the same thing. I read an email. I was sent to another girl's desk one day at lunchtime because the printer sat on her desk and her emails were open, and I saw my own name. And her and one of the other girls were this big massive conversation bitching about me and how everything I did irritated them. I had a really bad flu at the time, and I was constantly coughing. I couldn't answer the phone or anything because I had an asthma thing. When I get a really bad flu or cold, I get asthmatic. It's very strange, but it's a thing. I was on inhalers and everything, and I was irritating them by coughing. They both had said that I should be sacked for taking too much time off work. This is when I had fibro and ME but didn't know what I had, and I was ill and sore and sick all the time, and people thought I was taking the piss. So when you find out that this group of colleagues that you feel you really fit in with and you went out socially with, they all hate you behind your back. Then there was another close female friend who Kelly knows well because she was a close female friend of hers too. She just turned out to be an out-and-out liar that made up crap about everybody and everything. She had issues. She had mental issues, to be fair. But when you're proved right that most people are arseholes, and I mean, even in YouTube it happened to me when that arsehole from America turned on me. Other people didn't turn on me, well, two did, but the lack of support from mutual friends, the lack of people saying, that's not on, you shouldn't do that. He called me the C word on a live stream. And there was only one person that I'm friendly with online that saw that and said, absolutely not, I want nothing more to do with this person. You know, he's been a prick. No one else did. But since that point, every single person has fallen out with him for different reasons because the guy's a fucking arsehole. He's nasty. One of my good friends from America's got a trans son, and he said some really nasty things about that. I had enough of him because he said he shot his dog because he couldn't afford to take it to the vets. That's where my issue started. But other people soon came to find out what type of person he was, and he's burnt his bridges everywhere. But I would have appreciated a little bit of support at the time when I was going through the ringer. You know, he was talking about me on YouTube 4 years after the first issue we had. He just wouldn't leave it alone. He just was a bully. There's no other word for it. So when this happens to you over and over, you ask yourself, is it me? What am I doing? Why do people hate me? Why do people keep turning on me? You know, I don't know. And then sometimes you try to do the nice thing for other people and you don't tell a person what you really think because you want to save face with the people around you that you're mutually friends with, which is what I did. Kelly will know this one. When we went away on a big holiday to Prague with a group of friends, and one of them was so out of line that whole holiday with everyone, might I add. But I knew if I said anything on the holiday, it would ruin the holiday for everyone else. So I waited till we got home and then I said, look, your behaviour was completely unacceptable. I told her that I didn't see the friendship going any further. But then she went round and contacted all of my friends that she didn't even know on Facebook, telling them all that I was fake. And because I didn't tell her at the time in Prague, I was fake, I was this, I was that. So okay, I did that for other people's sake, but if you would rather see that I was fake, that's fine. Same situation with a guy on YouTube. I just said that I wasn't able to continue doing group live streams because of the time difference in America, and I was tired, and I just distanced myself. There was never a confrontation as such, but he took personal slight at that and went around telling everybody I was fake. So kind of what I discovered with that is if you think a person's being an arsehole, say to them, you're a fucking arsehole. Because if you don't, people will say you're fake. If you try to do the nice thing to save other people's feelings and not cause atmosphere and not cause awkwardness for other people, you'll be described as a fake. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Or, summing it up, most people are shit. So yeah, that's probably why I don't open up very much. Plus, that's how my dad is. My mum was quite closed down like that too. Your upbringing has a lot to do with that, and my upbringing was very old-fashioned. Very don't say what you feel. You never hug a child. You never tell a child that you're proud of them because they'll get a big head. So in a way, I grew up to be quite emotionally stunted. Maybe, I don't know, but it's times like this when it's such a shock when your dad breaks down that you realise how emotionally stunted you both are. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You're my therapy at the minute. I'm talking to you like a fucking therapist. Right, I'm gonna go to bed before I talk any more shite. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Those of you that listen to me. Yeah, I'll catch up with you later. Right, look, let's move that so it's not banging off it. I've got a mic. Whether or not it's working, I've no idea. So we're gonna do a little bit of recording on the way in when the car's moving to see
Testicles, 1, 2.
to see if it works. I've just plugged the little thing into my phone and then I've got this here. There may be something else you have to do, but if there is, I've no idea. So let's hope it's as straightforward as just plugging in and not like the last one, which was worse than none at all. It's Sunday. I just look a complete mess. I just cannot be bothered with makeup most days. Just going to my dad's to see how he is. Probably outwardly completely fine. See if he needs any groceries this week. This week I'm meeting a friend for coffee tomorrow. Then getting Isaac from school for his guitar lesson. Tuesday I'll be back in at my dad's again. Wednesday probably meeting Kira and Sophie. Thursday I want to try and not have to do anything, so I've got one day of the week to rest. Thursday's Isaac's jiu-jitsu. Friday, I can't remember right now, but something's telling me there's something. Friday's Scouts, because Francis, the main leader's in Scotland at a wedding, so we're doing backwoods cooking on a Swedish something or other. I have no idea what the hell we're doing. My eyes are so itchy, so the pollen must be high today. Yeah, so I'm just talking rubbish because I'm trying to have me talk while I'm in the car to see if it helps any. And then I'm going to switch this off and see if it's worse. Right, I'll switch it off. Now, there's a little, actually if I bang that a little bit, if it's working, that'll do something like it. Let's switch the mic off.